This is him being asked the final question on the Bloomberg conversation. Then we're going to go to the top 5 moments. All right, let's get to it.
I mean, I've watched. I don't think she could pass a cognitive test.
President Trump, you've gone over many issues on this. I asked you many questions about things. One thing I haven't asked at all about is the state of the race.
Yeah.
And I had a question for you. On election night, which state would you look at first? Which state do you think this race is going to be decided by?
So they say Pennsylvania, I would say most. I think we're doing very well there. I think you look at Michigan too, and I'm doing very well there. You know, we don't have to look necessarily. The votes are starting to come in now. So you look at polls, but you can also look at the votes that are being cast right now. People get a pretty good indication. And based, as we discussed backstage, you know, based on the votes that are coming in so far, we're doing very well. I mean, we're way up in Pennsylvania. We're way up in Michigan. We're doing very well in Arizona. I saw Arizona. In fact, somebody said they're going to pull the plug in Arizona. They're going to give it up because it looks like we're quite a ways ahead. I think we're doing well. Look, this is a party, the Republican Party, of common sense. Forget about conservative, liberal. We're, let's say conservative, but we're really a party of, we need borders. We need fair elections. We don't want men playing in women's sports. We don't want transgender operations without parental consent. You know, there's so many things, but it's 99.9% is common sense. It really is common sense. And I like to say it. I don't know if anyone said it in the past, but I say we're really a party of common sense, and we want to have great people in our country. I want to have a lot of people come in so that you have your choice and so that they have choice. I want to, you know, I have a good heart. I have a heart where I want people to be taken care of, but I don't want to take in people where millions of people, 21 million people at least, have come in the last 3.5 years, unvetted, unchecked. We don't know anything about them. How about this?
You want to know what I really love about this? Is what I love about Trump, bro. And I'm going to let him finish because he cooked this entire conversation. This brother cooked. The entire audience was filled with businessmen and women who know when somebody is BSing them. They know when somebody's BSing them. They loved this guy and his answers the entire time. The entire time. But this is what I love about Trump, right? All right. So he still made it a point. This is called the weave, right? He asked them which state matters the most when it comes to the election. So he started out answering that, right? But then he got back around to his main point. All money is not good money. Y'all need to write this down. All money is not good money, right? I do understand that you guys are going to get fat and rich off of all of these illegals that we bring in, and we give them money to go out there and spend to grow the economy. All right? That's all fake ass sugar honey iced tea. Fake. We have been teaching people how to grow online. It's been absolutely amazing. We have 3 people who have been able to reach monetization in less than 30 days. Growing YouTube channels, some from 0 people. We have one guy who had 2 subscribers before he started working with me. He started helping him. His views went up 4.8 million%. We're super excited. If anybody ever want to grow on YouTube, you reach out to me with the word coach. He said his biggest concern is making sure that we got the right people in our country. We got loving people in our country. We got people who want to give back to the community in our country. We got people who are vetted in our country. Like, it's so many other things. But all these people are paying attention to, if you send all these people back, it's going to crush the economy. If you put tariffs on these other countries, they're not going to want to do business with us. Shut the hell up. What's going to happen to the dollar if we stop doing business with these other companies? Trump is like, okay, and they can go. This is the greatest country in the world. They want to be here. They want to do business with us. They want to come all the way over here and be a part of what we got going on. So I'm going to charge them for it. If they don't want to get charged, then they will move here and set up shop and start selling their goods here. We're already selling their stuff. We're already selling their stuff. If you really want to do business with us, cool. Because if they decide not to do business with the United States of America, do you know how much money they are going to lose immediately? We're going to get it back. We have an ecosystem that actually works. We are the best thing shaking out here. But so many people don't have the vision that you have. God gave you a vision. Do not expect your friends, relatives, co-workers, anybody else to see your vision. All they're going to see is, well, our numbers show that it's not making sense. It's not adding up. Our numbers show this. Well, what happened to your numbers the last 3.5 years? Because it hasn't been serving our country well. So what I'm telling you is exactly what worked for me when I was in office 4 years, from 2016 to 2020. Man, this guy was cooking.
CEO, they'd be sacked. Do you think it's
but
fine
they don't have to survive like me. They don't have to go through what I have to go through. There has never been a president that's been treated like me, so I have to fight my own way.
Well, you made a.
Yeah, I heard that, right? There's never been a president that has been treated like him, so he has to fight his own way. And guys, whenever somebody keep on trying to act as if Kamala and Biden couldn't do anything, they had to deal with a Congress that hated them. They had to deal with a Senate that hated them. They had to, all these people are trying to stand against. No, the first 2 years of their reign, they had full control over everything, man. No complaints whatsoever. Here's the top 5 moments from that conversation that they had. And shout out to Lou Valentino, because I didn't even know that this conversation came out until I saw that Lou Valentino was talking about it. But then it took a Democrat who thought that I would get such a chuckle out of watching Trump conversation on Bloomberg. I thought that somebody said, you need to watch that Trump conversation on Bloomberg because trust me, just watch it. They thought that I was going to look at him as foolish. They thought that I was going to look at him as senile. They thought that I was going to see something else. They thought that I was not going to like Trump as much after watching that. The joke is on them because I actually sit back and I listen to people when they talk. And I listened to Trump when he was talking, and he cooked the entire hour that he was sitting there. And then when he got up and left, another standing ovation. I'm talking about a roaring ovation. Like when he first came in there, people was clapping, phones out. It was like a wave where this side stood up and then this side gradually stood up, then that side, then the back. That's how it was when he very first came to the Bloomberg conversation. When he left, when it was time for it to be over, man, everybody stood up and started clapping. And are you going to sit there and tell me that someone who don't know about business, who don't know about managing money, will get that type of roaring applause from business people? Man, kick rocks in your socks, Jack. All right, let's go and check this out, man. Y'all let me know whatever y'all want me to know in the comments. Here's the top 5 moments from that conversation. Let's go.
I think it's the greatest job in government. You show up to the office once a month and you say, let's see, flip a coin. And everybody talks about you like you're a god. Oh, what will he do? I mean, before, the guy used to walk into my office, he was like begging. Oh, he was fine.
But you did talk about, you talked about removing him once.
I did, because he was keeping the rates too high.
Yeah.
And I was right. What does the Wall Street Journal know? They've been wrong about everything. So have you.
This is my part right here. This right here, he cooked them. On the first one, he was talking about the Federal Reserve. He said, man, the Federal Reserve come through once a month, flip a coin, and then make a decision. Come on now.
You've been wrong.
You're trying to turn this. You're trying to turn this.
You've been wrong.
No, you're trying to turn this into debate. There are business people. There are business
You're wrong.
people.
You've been wrong. You've been wrong all your life on this stuff.
There you go.
We're going to put tariffs on them, and they're going to do. And you know what they can do? The Mercedes-Benz will start building in the United States, and they have a little bit. But you know what they really are? Assembly, like in South Carolina. But they build everything in Germany, and then they assemble it here. They get away with murder because they say, oh, yes, we're building cars. They don't build cars. They take them out of a box and they assemble them. We can have our child do it.
Tariffs also have another side. Isn't that something that you have to acknowledge?
No.
You could be plunging America into the biggest trade war since Smoot-Hawley.
But there are no tariffs.
You're going to stop. There are tariffs already.
No, there are no tariffs. All you have to do is build your plant in the United States, and you don't have any tariffs.
People, a lot of places like.
How about this?
Now, I do have to say something, and I want to hear from y'all. This is the other side of the tariffs argument. All right, so you put tariffs on a company where majority of their employees make their money from doing business with other countries. So now the companies that you put these tariffs on, they have to scale back now. Just say worst case scenario, they have to scale back. They start firing their people. 15 million people start losing their jobs until it gets to a point where this company is now doing a great majority of their business in the United States and they can afford to pay their employees a nice wage. This is where a part of the business world is coming from. What do you think about that? About the people who are already working for these companies losing their jobs because the company now has to scale back because their expenses are far higher now that they can't purchase items and services for way cheaper overseas or in other countries. How do y'all feel about that? Because that is something that Trump did not discuss the entire night. Now, he talked about what tariffs can do, all of the great things that tariffs can do, and I'm with him on that. But the other side of that is the companies that are already the John Deeres that's employing, I don't know how many people that they employ, but the farmers that purchase their machinery, not only farmers, but all American companies that purchase their machinery, usually companies pass their extra, they pass that on to the consumer. They pass that on to the purchaser, to the customer. So how do y'all feel about that? This is something that Donald Trump did not touch the entire time he was talking on Bloomberg. And this is also the only thing that the Democrats are focusing on because they're very small-minded. They're not seeing the benefits. They acknowledge the benefits, then they have to admit that maybe he's onto something and what he's talking about is actually far better than what Kamala is talking about. So they won't do that because that's political unaliving. I'm not going to say the word, but y'all know what I'm talking about. All right, let's get back into it. I just wanted to touch on that because they did not cover this at all. All right, let's go.
People, a lot of places like.
How about this? Gavin Newsom, he's the governor of California.
Newsom.
He signed Newsom, I call him.
Yeah. But do you think
he corrected me? I said, that's the first time I've been corrected.
There are CEOs out here. If they said those sort of things about a rival CEO, they'd be sacked. Do you think it's fine for a president? But they don't have to survive like me. They don't have to go through what I have to go through. There's never been a president that's been treated like me, so I have to fight my own way. Well, you made a.
I love what he just now said. I love it. He called him a Newsom. You know what I mean? He called him Newsom. The Democrats are making fun of Trump on X, acting as if he didn't know how to say Newsom. He knew how to say Newsom. They knew exactly what he was doing. But then this gentleman getting scared and getting afraid again, saying, but you have to do business with these people. You don't care about calling them names and then thinking about, you have to do business with them. You might not be showed any favor. He said, look, they going to do business with me regardless, man. All right. They ain't got no choice. All right. People have been treating me unfairly, way more unfairly than any other president. So I fight the way I fight. And when it's time to do business, it's time to do business. Here's the part. This entire conversation, all he talked about was doing deals, closing deals, deal after deal after deal after deal. Even when it came to negotiating whether or not there would be a potential war or a beef between us and other nations. This dude goes back and sit down and have conversations. And then the dude tried to back him into a corner and said, hey, so we hear that you're still having conversations with Putin. And do you still have conversations with Putin? And do you still have conversations with this leader and that leader? And Trump just big boyed him, man. Trump big boyed that man. He said, I don't talk about stuff like that. That's not what I do. Why would I ruin a relationship simply for this conversation? Why would I ruin a relationship between me and other foreign leaders when a relationship is actually how you get things done? A relationship is how you get things done. Why in the world do we always tout the importance of networking between business people, But then when it comes to being a leader over here and those leaders over there, I'm not supposed to say anything to them. That makes absolutely no sense.